Hey everybody, today I want to make a video showing my late December vinyl pickups and finds, late December, early January. But before I begin, I have a new book that I'm launching. It's another children's book parody.
I know you think you're smart, see, because you got all them flashy clothes, you got that big car there, you got all them black bitches working for you.
And this one is called The Monster at the End of These Files. And of course, it is a parody of the Sesame Street monster at the end of this book. But instead of Grover, we have our commander-in-chief, who is trying to stop you from turning pages. And the pages that you turn are actually the Epstein files. So the deeper you get into this, the more he protests, the more he tries to get you to stop turning pages until the end of the book, where you see the actual monster. Who's left? Who's the monster? Anyway, that is my latest book. Sorry for the plug, but just had to get that out there. I'm going to be launching this book. It's available on Amazon.
I don't give a shit.
Or at my website, jeffwitcherbooks.com. Okay, got that out of the way. Sorry for any of you who do not care.
Who gives a
Vinyl finds. So some of these I picked up out in the wild. Some I ordered on Amazon. But I will start with, I picked up some more MoFi One Steps. Aaron, if you remember, got me the Van Halen one for Christmas and heard it was the best sounding copy of that album that I had in my collection or had ever heard. And so I'm like, I got to pick up the other ones. So I grabbed Van Halen 2, Women and Children First, and of course most people's favorite, which is Fair Warning. And I love these. They have like little cardboard sleeves for each of the discs. The discs play at 45 RPMs. Actually, the Women and Children First is very cool because it's actually got the poster, the David Lee Roth poster. When I got the Van Halen, whatever the most recent vinyl reissues were, and I did not get the poster with that one, but this one has it. That photo of David Lee Roth, the poster. I think at one time that was originally under consideration for the album cover. So anyway, very happy with the sound on those. Obviously, I mean, you hear things that you didn't hear in the original recordings. Everything is enhanced. There's great separation between the vocals and all of the instruments. And I'm not turning into an audiophile, at least I don't think I am, but I am appreciating, especially when it comes to Van Halen and some of my favorite bands, appreciating the improved sound quality that not only the Rhino high fidelity, those Rhinos, I picked up a bunch of those in the past year, and it really feels like spoiling yourself because the sound is so incredible on those, and the packaging is amazing. And what I'm finding now, you know, and honestly, I hate to just kind of take a left turn here in the middle of this video, but I've come to the realization, not that this was ever any big secret, but I'm really seriously addicted to record collecting now. I mean, I don't know if anybody can relate to this, but I've told myself so many times, like, okay, that is it. No more record buying for a while. Like, I've got now in my collection, and I'm sure many of you can relate to this, I've got more records now than I will ever be able to listen to. Like, looking through, like going around, looking at my collection, it's like, when am I ever going to have time to listen to all this music, all these records? And so I told myself, that's it. Okay, you're going to get this record that you want, and then you're taking a break for, like, just try and give it a month, like a month of no record purchasing. I can't last a couple days. It's really pathetic. And I've come to the conclusion, like, okay, you're an addict.
It's that new drug on the street. All the kids are falling prey to it.
You have a problem. But at the same time, you know, they give me joy. I like record collecting. I mean, at certain times, I do purge some of the records in my collection that I just know I'm not going to listen to.
I'm gonna take them down. I'm gonna take them all down.
But there's a real joy that I think we get out of record collecting. And I saw this quote from Jerry Seinfeld yesterday, and it was like, that is so spot on. That encompasses how I feel about my record collecting. And I think somebody was asking Jerry Seinfeld, who I guess in the interview, he was admitting the fact that, yeah, I like buying expensive things. I like buying things and they bring me joy. And he said, if you have things that don't bring you joy, you're buying the wrong things. And I think what he was trying to say is like, yeah, of course, we all know money can't buy you happiness, which again, that's up for debate. Or things can't bring you pleasure. Things need to be intrinsic. It needs to be, the love and your family and relationships and all those things, which are definitely important. But what's to say records or things, material things, can't also bring you joy and happiness? Because I can tell you, nothing makes me happier than there are things that make me happier. Okay, I don't want to get too hyperbolic with this little monologue that I have going on here, but there are things that bring me a lot of joy.
Life doesn't always work out according to plan, so be happy with what you got, so you can always get a hot dog.
I get very happy when I go into a record store and find a grail or a record that completes a hole in my collection, or a pressing that I've been really looking for, or a pristine copy of one of my favorite albums in the shrink with the hype. I think we all get excited about stuff like that. I am no different. And so, yeah, it's really hard for me. Like this year, I keep telling myself, you gotta stop. You're running out of room. You can't even listen to all the records that you have right now.
And now here you are, right back at it again.
But I can't stop myself.
You must be high or something, fella.
And I guess this is kind of a mini confessional. I don't know why I feel the urge to ramble on and on about this.
You don't want to talk about your problems.
But I'm hoping maybe you guys out there have the same dilemma.
Don't talk like one of them. You're not. Even if you'd like to be. To them, you're just a freak.
Because I'm really, at times, conflicted about it. I know I got to stop. And so, I guess at this point, maybe to land the plane, I think what I'm trying to say is I'm steering more into the area of, I want quality copies, like great sounding copies of albums that I have, like replacing either beat up copies or just copies that don't play very well. They're not great pressings. Maybe the sleeve is banged up. Trying to replace those records rather than just keep accumulating a shitload of records I'm never going to listen to. We'll see how this journey pans out this year. But anyway, I did want to share that. I feel like you guys understand me.
I didn't know it was Pick on the Middle-Aged Square Guy Day. My apologies.
So anyway, back to the records that I want to show. Speaking of audio, improved audio pressings, I got a couple of Japanese Beatle pressings. And I got this pressing of Rubber Soul. These are 1976 Japanese pressings, by the way. The cool thing is they do come with lyric sheets. And this has got like a catalog of all the records, American and UK, that are available on Japanese pressings. Sound is phenomenal. I really was listening to this and was hearing things that either I had missed or were just kind of brought to the forefront. I don't know what the Japanese do to make these records sound so freaking great, but they are definitely worth the investment. And then I got a Japanese pressing of Help, which has got the full or a fuller color photograph than the US release. You can actually see their legs here. It's like one of these collector things like, ooh, that's different.
Who cares?
Because I think it was cropped like right here on the American version.
Who cares?
And it is a gatefold as well. Which, this is all in Japanese over here, so I have no idea what any of it says. And then this is like a photograph from 1962.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
But whatever. It's just kind of cool to have a rare, I don't want to say rare, but just a, number one, a Japanese pressing, but then also when the packaging looks different.
Even if this were true, who cares?
I'm always a sucker for that. I did order Meet the Beatles, a Japanese press of Meet the Beatles as well, and that is a completely different track listing. It's almost like a hybrid of With the Beatles and Please Please Me, but they have From Me to You thrown in there. It's a really unique track listing for Meet the Beatles, and I know like the version of, there was a version of Meet the Beatles or With the Beatles or something like that, and a Canadian pressing of that also has a unique track listing. But anyway, enough about the Beatles. Picked up a couple of Damned records, and this is the Black Album. It's a double album. There's a studio disc and then a live disc or a live side. There's one track that takes up an entire side. I think that's like side 3, and then side 4 is live. And very cool. This is the Damned moving away from like that more aggressive punk rock into more kind of polished, poppier, not poppy in a Men at Work kind of way, or, you know, some of like the early 80s stuff. This was released, I think in like 82 or something like that. But they're moving kind of, they're straddling that line between like post-punk and goth on here. But Chris Profi recommended that one for me. I think he said he had it on CD, and it was a great album, so I did pick that up. And yes, it is great. And then this is a record I had a long time ago, and somehow it got lost in one of my many moves, and so I found a promotional copy of this in great shape. My two favorite songs on here are In Dulce, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, In Dulce Decorum, and then they do a cover of Alone Again or The Love Song. They do a great version of that. This I think was like 84 or 85, somewhere around there, where they're definitely more in like new wave. Nothing punk about this. It's definitely like that kind of like new wave alternative mid 80s kind of a sound, but great record. And I won a bid on eBay for this, which I was glad, because I've never seen this in the wild. It's never been on Amazon that I've ever found. This is the Replacements' second studio album, Hootenanny, with an Obi strip, which is very cool. And yeah, this is much like the Damned moving away from punk rock. This is Paul Westerberg expanding on his songwriting, writing more thoughtful, introspective songs, kind of moving away from the harsher punk of their debut. Sorry, Ma, forgot to take out the trash. The title track is very sloppy. I think it was improvised in the studio, and then they ended up using that as a title track. But this has some very cool stuff on here. Take Me Down to the Hospital is great. Some fantastic stuff on here. Very happy to pick that one up. Then I got a couple of Black Sabbath records. I'm expanding my Black Sabbath collection. I grabbed this one. This is The Eternal Idol. So this is the first album with Tony Martin. And I'd always heard people say, like, I don't know, Tony Martin, he's a great vocalist. I listening to this, I mean, yeah, he does sound a bit like he's trying to mimic Ronnie James Dio a bit, sort of in the way that Gary Cherone was trying to mimic Sammy Hagar on the Van Halen 3 album. And I know that's not really a fair comparison, but that's, to my ears anyway, what this sounds like. But he's got a fantastic voice, and these are great songs, great riffs from Tony Iommi on here. But I did not expect to like this record. I bought it because it was relatively cheap on Amazon. I'm like, yeah, you're probably going to hate it. But I was very surprised by that. This is one I had on CD and wanted to get it on vinyl, and I found it used, actually, but it was in pristine condition. This is the third Ronnie James Dio Black Sabbath album, Dehumanizer. It's a double disc set. It's got some outtakes, live stuff on the second disc, and then the regular album. And this is not anywhere near as great as Mob Rules or Heaven and Hell. I think most Black Sabbath fans would agree with me. And this, you don't have Bill Ward on here, unfortunately. But, you know, you still got kind of that classic Dio lineup. Geezer Butler, obviously Tony Iommi. But, you know, it's okay. It just doesn't reach the heights that the first two Dio albums with Sabbath did. Picked up this Ministry record as I'm building my Ministry collection. This is The Land of Rape and Honey. This has Stigmata, which was the only song that I was really familiar with off this record, but I like it a lot. The first side is very hard rocking guitar focused kind of tracks, and then side 2 is more like the classic industrial with like synthesizers, still some guitar. It's still heavy, but it's more in, like kind of what you get from Nine Inch Nails on their first album, closer to that. So you got Ministry already moving into that like harder rocking heavy metal direction that they would follow up on their next album. The Mind is a Terrible Thing to Taste, and then Psalm 69, the record after that. But I really like this. This is also 2 discs. It's got some remixes and stuff on the second disc. You got the proper album on the first 3 sides, and then side 4 has a couple of remixes on it, but it's a cool collection. And then I grabbed this Funkadelics first album. This sounds amazing. This was from 1970.
What the shit is this?
I had Maggot Head, and I saw this in the record store. I'm like, I'm going to take a chance on this. This is freaking amazing. I love this. The first track, Mommy, What's a Funkadelic, is this 9-minute, like acid rock, psychedelic, still funky jam. I Bet You is phenomenal. But yeah, it's psychedelic. It's, I don't want to call it proggy, but it's sort of proggy in a funk kind of way. I don't know the best way to accurately describe this.
Oh, you's a corn-fed fool with a lot of muscle mass. But it's time for Bullhorn to get up in that ass.
I love this record. Really great. Happy to have that repress. And then this is a record I have never seen out in the wild. I actually forgot about this band, forgot about this song, but I'm a huge sucker for 80s music. And so I saw this, and it was a little pricey, but I'm like, I'm going to pick it up because I may never see this again. And I do have an affection for the song and the movie that it was featured in. And that is Zig Zig Sputnik, their album Flaunt It. Love Missile F-111, which was in the movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And it's, yeah, I mean, it's kind of synth pop, but it's got that kind of sound like for most of it. But there's like a lot of guitars on here. I was not expecting that. Some heavy guitars, but it's sort of like a mid-80s, I guess, synth pop new wave album. And I thought it would be kind of like, okay, this is like, they're definitely a one-hit wonder, but I'm not sure the rest of the album's probably not going to be that great. But as it turns out, I did like it. I liked it more than I imagined I would. And then lastly, I got a Whitesnake album a couple of months ago as a gift. And then I was in the record store yesterday and I saw both of these. I'm like, I got to pick these up. Slide It In, which I think some people regard as the best Whitesnake album. I do like this one a lot. I've only listened to side 1, but side 1 I was very impressed with, and I know I'm going to dig Whitesnake. Also picked this up for $5. $5, this live album, Live in the Heart. I don't know, in terms of Whitesnake's discography, I've got a lot of research to do. Did this come before Slide It In, afterwards? I mean, I know these both came before the self-titled 1987 album, but I'm still learning a lot about Whitesnake. So anyway, hope you've enjoyed this video. Sorry it went on a bit too long. Hope you're doing great, and take care.
Oh, yeah, that's good.